Hello everyone, it's me, Coffee Stitcher. It is January 20th in the States. Tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day, so for those of us who have it off, yay, Monday off, woo! For those of you who don't, I'm sorry that you have to go to work. But I have it off, so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Alright, so how was everybody's week? Awesome, that's really good to hear. I had a bit of an unusual week. So this is going to be a bit of a side story. As many of you probably saw, most of you probably saw, Carol Channing passed away this week. For longtime viewers, I have a framed picture of me with her, with the ticket stub from when I saw her, and it's autographed by her. I have her autobiography. I have playbills for just about every show she ever did. Carol Channing was, and I jokingly refer to her as my spirit animal. Carol Channing got me through some very hard times in college and young adulthood. And really meant a lot to me. And I'd been bracing myself that she was going to go. She was 97, it was going to happen. Although there were numerous jokes about how she was older than Methuselah and she just really found a new host body every century or so. But she really did mean a lot to me in a way that someone that you don't really know can mean a lot to you. She was my John Lennon, she was my Judy Garland, she was my Kurt Cobain. So Tuesday was a difficult day. And we'll come to a little bit of that again later, but, so I didn't stitch Tuesday. I barely did. Wednesday, I had a work event, so that meant no stitching. Thursday, I got like 3 stitches in because my dad's birthday was yesterday and I was cooking big and I didn't want to have to get up early Saturday, go to the grocery store and start cooking, and I knew I didn't want to go on Friday night. So really, Sunday, Monday, and Friday were the only 2 days of stitching. Well, and then last night after everybody left. So I didn't get as much stitching done as I would have liked this week. There was stuff going on at work during lunches, so I didn't really stitch anything on Hufflepuff, so I'm not even going to bother to show you that one this week. 4 stitches does not justify putting it into a video. It just doesn't. So this was a rough week. Dogging back a little to Carol Channing, when I met her, it was in 2005. It was right before Halloween, October 29th. And a friend of mine from college, we drove up to Branson, Missouri, because I went to school in Arkansas, for those who don't know or didn't remember. And the summer before that, my sophomore year, she had worked at the Old Navy in Branson and had seen the billboard for the Branson Follies guest star Carol Channing. So we got tickets. We went up. It was a matinee. We were the youngest people in the audience by a good 40 years, probably. The show itself was men and women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s recreating the Ziegfeld Follies, and it was actually fairly entertaining. And then Carol was the Act 2 specialty. And she came out and she did Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend and Little Girl from Little Rock. She did before the monologue leading into and then Before the Parade Passes By, and then the title number from Hello Dolly, and she told stories, and she was 85 years old, and you would never have believed it. I mean, she commanded that stage. She moved around it like nobody's business. And then afterwards she was going to be in the lobby to meet and sign pictures. And so the lights come up after the show's over, and I start running up the back aisle, realizing as I'm going up the back aisle, I could walk at a leisurely pace and still be the first person in line. So she comes out, she's standing behind this sort of glass counter display case thing where she can sign, and she signs my ticket. I'm like, and I say, "Hi, Carol Channing, my name is Garrett, and it's so nice to meet you." And she goes, "Gary Cooper? Your name's Gary? Oh, I loved you in that movie, but, Katharine Hepburn, the African Queen." Never mind that Katharine Hepburn is not in The African Queen. No, Gary Cooper's not. One of them's not. I forget which one at this point. Not the point of the story. And I say, no, my name is Garrett, and I give her my last name. She goes, "Oh, I thought you said your name was Gary Cooper." And I laughed, and I said, could I get a picture with you? And she goes, "Oh, sure, come on around." So we go around, and I get my picture taken with her. It's all over Instagram if you want to go check my Instagram out, because I don't know how to slot it in here. And I get my picture with her, and I'm so excited, and I'm so nervous, and I go, "Thank you, Carol Channing. It was so nice to see you alive." When I meant to say, "It's so nice to see you live." Her eyes get real big. I was like, "I'm so sorry. I meant live. I'm sorry, Carol Channing." And I bolt out of there, leaving my friend Anna behind. And that was how I met and insulted Carol Channing, and it was one of the top 5 greatest moments of my life still. And in terms of concerts that I've seen, it's the best. It was magical. That's the only real word for it. It was magical. So I'm very sad she's gone. So it was a very hard Tuesday. It wasn't the easiest week overall. So anyhow, that being said, let's dive in. We've got some Q&A, one of which is not going to make one of the commenters totally happy. Sorry in advance. And then no haul this week, but I do have a little bit of a rotation shakeup, a minor new start, and some other stuff. So, we'll dive right on in. Mountain Girl 189L said, "Did you mention you're working on Paradise Lost? Is that the one by Plumsteed Samplers? I have that one all kitted up. I would love to see your progress if it's the same one." I actually banished it back to the whip pile. It's been in the rotation now, and I didn't work on it in November, I didn't work on it in December, and I really didn't feel like working on it this month. So generally, after 3 months where I pass it over for other things, pass one over for other stuff, it gets put away for a little while until I'm ready to work on it again. So, yes, it is, but I'm not actively working on it now. Stitchin' 304 says, "I'm not sure if you stitch in hand, but if you do you roll the extra fabric that's in your hand or just bunch it up? What I'm asking is, would it be easier to roll than bunch?" I do not stitch in hand, unless it's like the very end when I'm trying to attach details down, like on Tiger Lily, I did that in hand, the ribbons in hand. By and large, I use a Q-snap or a hoop, or sometimes scroll rods. So I'm not a good person to answer that. I will say Kate, the Queen of Starts, stitches exclusively in hand, and from what I've seen, she rolls, but you could definitely ask her, and she may do a variation depending on what it is she's working on. But she stitches in hand. Polywag87 asks, "Can you describe or show us your setup for large projects? Like Giant Harry Potter, how do you work on it comfortably?" Well, I have a Lowry stand for one thing, so that's what holds it. That was actually, Giant Harry Potter is one of the reasons why I bought a Lowry, because it was too big for an 11 by 8 Q-snap. I had trouble supporting the 11 by 17. So that's why I got it, and I use an 11 by 17 Q-snap, or, I think I've got like a 10 by 22, or a 10 by 20, roll-a-frame. So, and I kind of go back and forth between the two on that one. So, that's how I do that. The lovely Rose City Stitcher asks, do you have any plans for fully finishing Tiger Lily? And the answer is yes, eventually she will be framed. What I really want to do, and Aurora's going to be the next one that I start with Robert, because he was like, oh, I like that, I should kit one up. And I was like, well, if you want to work on Aurora, that's going to be the next one I start, and we can saddle it together. And he was like, okay. And I forget what his floss tube name is. That makes me feel a little silly. But it's Robert. So my goal is eventually to get all 12 of them done and then have them displayed on a wall. Originally, I wanted to do them all on the same count fabric, the same color fabric, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm trying to really break myself of that, and it's going to be more, this is the fabric that I think works best for this design. So... and Cinderella will be restarted because I really was not enjoying that fabric that it was on. I don't think opal fabrics are going to be what I use for those, since there's so many sparkles with them in general. GWiz65 says, do you use an app or PDF reader for your digital patterns? If so, do you have a recommendation for an app that you like? I do not. I just use the built-in Adobe. I think it's Adobe that's built into the iPad. But I just use the built-in one. If it's a chart that I need to mark off, then I'll print it. But otherwise, I just work on it that way. And I think that's all the Q&A. All right, so we'll talk rotations, shake up, and then I'll show you what I did this week. So remember me saying that I felt like I needed to add more. So I brought 2 more projects out of the whip pile. I brought out the William Morris, which I'll show you in a moment. And then the Jeanette Douglas Our Common Thread, because I really want to start the Cape Cod, but I really want to finish this first. So my new goal is that I will work on motif C, which is these 3 little bands here. And then the next time I pull it out is D, which is all the stuff up here. So it's got some over 1 stitching, because apparently I am never going to be able to get away from over 1 stitching. Although really, after I do, it's that mark there. So it's that motif there. So after that one and the peacock that's right above it there, after that, I don't think there is anything that's actually over 1. There's lots of specialty stitches, but I think that's it. Oh no, there's another bird that's an over 1, but it's pretty small. Yeah, the bird and the peacock, but everything else is not. So we shall push through. All right, so that comes out of the rotation now. So, or that goes into the rotation. As I said, I took Paradise Lost out of rotation. So motif C on Common Thread. I've got March and Year in Celebration to do, and then a page finish on Longfellow. Now we've got this next week, and then most next. So I've still got time for those 3. We'll see what I pull out to work. I think I'm gonna go ahead. We'll see. I'm either gonna do March or I'm gonna work on Common Thread, because I'm not sure which one I'm feeling more like. So, but there's March. And actually, I think March is probably what I'm going to work on, because I feel the need for a bunch of color. I need to do more color changes. Because, let's see, so for Mira Monday, I actually got a lot more accomplished than I'd expected. So I filled in all of this here. So now I get to figure out what part is next. I am off tomorrow, so I'm going to be spending a full day on Woodland Fairy. So I think I'm just going to keep working my way down the dress. But here it is. This is on Enchanted Forest Opal from Under the Sea Fabrics. I did attempt to start on Tuesday as tribute to Carol, the White Queen from Brooks Books. And this is as far as I got. Not very far. This is on the April fabric of the month from, I think, 2017. From Ship's Manor. So, and then I was too sad to work on her. So she's gonna go into the whip bin. She's not gonna be part of the regular rotation right now. So, and then I worked on William Morris this week. Now this was a Mania start in last year. It's on a random 28 count fabric that I don't remember where I got, or I don't remember what it is. I remember where I got it. So my goal was to do the center flower. So I finished that up. And this is the Evanlode tea tray. So here is, that's what it looks like. So I got the center flower done. I'm figuring probably I'll break the different shoot-off vines into 2 sections. And each, so 1 section a month, so 4 more months. So, but I really actually enjoyed working on this a lot. So it was nice and simple, but there weren't a lot of color changes, which is why I think I'm probably going to go ahead and work on Year of Celebrations, because there are color changes in that, and I'm feeling the need to do some color changing. So, that's kind of it for me. So obviously I'll do Year in Celebration. It'll probably only take me a day or 2 to finish March. And then after that, I don't know which one I'll pick up. And I will work on Giant Harry Potter. That's actually what I'm going to go do. I'm going to do my 5 letters, 5-ish letters, on Giant Harry Potter. And then I'm going to work on Year in Celebration. So, anyhow, that's it for me right now. I hope everyone has a fabulous day, a great week, and I will see y'all next time.